Oh man, we are live with episode one. YouTube and Paul Podcast Media Platform listeners, welcome to the first episode of Nostalgic Evolution. I am one half of your host, KashDaGemini. You can just call me Cash, along with my other half, Tone, and we're gonna have a good time with you guys today. This is something new, something bright. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with Nostalgic Evolution. I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm just tryna change the game. Got my whole bitch cutting, everybody know my name. I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm just tryna change the game. I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm just tryna change the game. Got my whole clique cutting, everybody know my name. Tone, what's going on, man? The other half of Nostalgic Evolution. How's it going for you? It's Saturday, man. First episode.
It's going good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, it's crazy. We were talking before the show, like, just about some like UFOs and stuff, and then we'll get to that in a second. But it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, for
crazy because
sure.
I was like, yo, I was actually gonna bring that up. But
Yeah.
just to let everybody know, I'm not even sure like how we actually met, but I think we should talk about that and then like where how the show actually came apart. I
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I know you have the Court of the Dead pieces, which did
Oh,
an
yeah,
interview
that's right back there.
did an interview one on one with Emilcar Fong. It was pretty cool because you had all his works and stuff like that, and he was very impressed with the collection and the pieces and stuff like that. I've actually never seen the Alien flick, so he wants me to watch them, and he's gonna come on and we'll talk some
Oh,
aliens.
man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say you're missing out, but because you'll see.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they're
all good,
great.
man. So yeah, we were like, I think one day we were talking, and like I had heard you were listening to like that '70s show, and I'm like, yo, man, that's some nostalgic stuff. You know what I mean? Because like I don't care how many times you play it, like you can just rewatch it and rewatch it.
Yeah, that's the show, man. That's the show for me. It takes me back all the way to literally 1998 when it
Yeah.
started. And I mean, I'll get into that later on about that show, like how much impact it's had on my life even to this day. Even today, reading an article about 5 out of the 6 original casts are going to return. Like that's brand new news. So
Okay.
that's really
Okay.
exciting, man. But
Yeah, it is, man. And then even
yeah,
on
you.
the other half of the name, I evolution. We were talking about Pokemon one day, and it's
Pokemon.
crazy, dude. Like I swear to God, today I opened 21 packs of Pokemon cards. No
Man,
lie.
that's
21
a
packs
lot.
of Pokemon cards. And I was trying to find a Charizard, and I couldn't find it. I did end up giving the Charizard, or this pack to the little one. He opened up the pack, and he had a Charizard in it. And I was just
Oh
like,
man,
dude, I was so
there it
happy for
goes.
him. I was so happy for him. But then I was thinking in the back of my head, in these 21 packs, there better be a freaking Charizard. And there wasn't.
Yeah,
And I was just like,
in the 22nd one there was, but
then the 22nd one there was. It's all good,
that's
man.
how it goes, man.
Yeah, dude. So let's just get started, dive right in. So like I got a question for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a serious question for you. I was talking one day like to an old friend, and like we just start talking about aliens one day, right? Like just out of nowhere. And you know how like with statues, right? With statues, like Prime One Studios has their own aliens, Sideshow has their aliens.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you've obviously heard of quarter scale, fifth scale, one third. How big is an alien really? Like, how do you know what size the actual alien is? I know they're basing off of the movie, but how like are aliens really little green men from like the Snicker commercials? Like, what are aliens?
I don't think they are the little green men. Like it's a crazy topic that I get really deep into, not just like conspiracy theories either.
Yeah,
Like um no, I just believe that what aliens are just more evolved beings than we are. I mean, the whole concept of aliens, it immediately eliminates the idea of Christianity. So when you take that
mm,
out of it, like they have been to do interstellar travel like they do, they have been around many millions of years longer than we have. They could look similar to us, probably do. maybe
So
they don't look similar based
for
on,
the for the people like myself that don't know, what is interstellar traveling?
going from like basically one galaxy to another
Oh, okay, okay.
over, a long distances we can't even imagine. I guess we can imagine it,
Mm-hmm.
but like they depending on how deep you want me to go real quick, is they basically are discovering that they use gravity to travel. They bend it like to move their ships, like almost like if you have like a
Damn.
stretched piece of fabric and
Right.
you put a brick in the middle and you lift one side of that fabric, that brick is still going to slide, but the entire sheet's bending down. That's what they're
Hmm.
doing with gravity to move.
Damn,
That's
man.
just one of the things that they're discovering and releasing
Okay.
to the public. So this is all stuff that I've just learned from public knowledge that within the last year and a half, 2 years, that they've been, putting out a lot of information that used to be
So
declassified.
would you I know like people always talk about it and you know exactly where I'm going with this, but like would you ever be scared to actually go to Area 51?
If there was no threat of being, shot down by the military or anything like that, I
Well,
would
I
I would
mean like
love to.
you could escape past them, sneak in and just have free range for like an hour.
This is something where, yeah, it's definitely something I would want to go, because it's something I've believed in since I was like 8 or 9 years old, and that was, well over 2 decades ago now. So
Yeah.
it's I don't have a fear of it. I have weird dreams of like seeing the Earth from
Mhm.
outer space, and it doesn't freak me out. The ideas never freak me out. Like Hollywood movies, for the most part, always use the invasion idea for aliens.
Yeah.
The fact is, I mean, even as far back as Egyptians, they've been here. They're still
Yeah.
here. They continuously visit. Clearly, with all these declassified videos and stuff, they're here on a regular basis.
You know,
So,
I think one of the best like sci-fi-ish movies about that was War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. That
that's
was
a
a
good
really
one.
good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as invasion ones go, that one's fantastic. As far as ones where I would like to think would be more likely scenario is, the movie Arrival by chance?
Is that a newer one, I think?
Yeah, with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Forrest Whitaker.
I knew you were talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that is a very, I think, one of the best alien movies there is, and it's a non-hostile alien movie. They don't come here to invade. And that's, I think, the most likely thing, because if with all the visits we've been recording over like the last 70, 80 years plus, even back to Egyptian times, the thousands of years,
Hmm.
if they were to invade us, they would have already done it.
So
And
you
there'd have
think
been
it's
nothing we
more
could do.
you think it's more informational, like research.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're any sentient being in my mind that reaches like where we can think about this kind of stuff, and they've already reached that millions and possibly billions of years ago. They have that same curiosity that we do. What else is out there? Why would they want to come invade unless they
Um,
absolutely needed our exact resources, which probably isn't the case, because not every planet where there is that life, I would think, doesn't need oxygen, doesn't need, H2O and the certain things that we need to sustain our life on this earth doesn't necessarily apply to every single planet that there would be out there.
do you think that there's still the same reproduction in terms of like they would get pregnant, they would have
Yes.
offspring?
Yes. In some way. I mean, maybe like
Maybe it's not
I don't
nine
want to. I don't want to
months.
jump
Yeah,
into comics like in personal favorites, but I think Man of Steel, the beginning of that, like where they
yeah.
show like how they make clones,
Okay.
is a possibility that they could do. Like instead of
Yeah,
giving birth, they have genetic creation basically already.
Yeah,
So I mean,
man, dude.
yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite things to think about and read about and just watch everything I can.
Yeah, cool,
It's just
man. I
it's a
mean,
wild, wild topic. And
yeah,
I'm
man,
all for
it's crazy.
it. Like I'm not scared. I mean, like I said, like from the beginning,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
if aliens were gonna invade, they would have already done it, and their curiosity is just as big as ours, if not bigger, and they're
So,
clearly not hostile.
so one of the most important questions would be: you see, like the interviews where people are being interviewed about their, they saw a saucer, or they were abducted, but they don't have memory. The most important question is: do you actually believe them? Not that we could say it did or didn't happen, but why would anybody make that up?
Well,
Because
I
just
mean,
by
that was one
talking
of the
about it, you already seem crazy.
yeah, absolutely. It's still a thing that's frowned upon. It's
Yeah.
becoming more widely accepted, especially with a lot of government officials being the ones who are coming out and saying this is what's happening. And I don't know how many of the videos you've seen, but they're all military videos captured with their very high tech
Mm-hmm.
equipment, stuff that we couldn't capture with our cell phones and Canons and Nikons and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like, so if they're the ones saying it and they're the ones coming out and being like, this is what's going on, like that's in my eyes, that's all the proof I think I needed as a child, thinking like, oh man,
Yeah.
aliens are real. Like if now the government officials are working with, different organizations to get this stuff out there in like in a way that's kind of cushioned, but saying, yeah, this is real, not because I mean, just think of all the different things just coming out and saying aliens are real does to a lot of humanity's belief systems.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would cause mass
Dude.
panic. So they're trying to figure out right now. They're still trying to figure out ways how they can ease this into public knowledge without everybody freaking out because that's I mean, with the people who say they've done it, I mean, that's just a lot of filtering out
Yeah.
what's real, what's not, and they've been doing that since this began. Like the government, CIA, different officials, and they've been working on that forever.
Dude.
Who's real, who's not,
But
what's
how
real, what's not.
how far back on a presidential level do you feel like it's known? Because like you always see
Oh,
like Obama, JFK, like whoever is like they hold these things. Like even Trump talked about it, but it's like, do you think
Trump's
this is George Washington? Do you think like
probably absolutely,
Franklin
but
Jefferson?
for as much as I don't ever want to talk about what side of politics or whatever because it doesn't matter to me. Trump's the one who
Yeah.
basically was like signed the documents that said that the government needs to finally declassify this information. So he was the one who
Now,
did that for all the crappy things he has done. He did do that,
why
and
why do you think it is classified? Do you think the government feels like the public can't
they can't handle it.
handle?
They can't handle it. No, man, because like especially America being a Christian based country, like we built this country on God and stuff like that, and whatever. I'm not gonna talk about the real history of America, how dark it gets, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean but yeah, I think leaders from all like countries they have to know, like they have to be debriefed, like yeah,
And
this is real, guys.
that's actually a good thing you said, because obviously we're in the United States of America. I've never been outside the country myself. I know people from different countries who are
I
even
was in
here
Mexico for
now.
about I was in Mexico once for about 15 minutes. I was going through Texas and we crossed to the Mexican side through El Paso and I had to go through the border again. And
Yeah.
I'm brown enough that the customs agents they asked me, "Hey, do you have ID?" And I was like, "Sure do, man." And handed it to them and they're like, "Okay." So,
do,
yeah, I was in Mexico for about 15 minutes once.
do you think other countries fascinate about this as much as Americans?
Absolutely, dude. I think other countries, if we were exposed to their kind of knowledge too, dude, I'm sure they know just as much,
But I
if
mean,
not
like,
more.
you've never heard someone from like China, for example, like talk about a UFO. Like
Oh,
never.
that's, I mean, that's more government. They're kind of closed off.
Okay, yeah,
They
yeah.
don't want to. But like, yeah, like there's so much stuff that's happened just in the country of like over in Europe. Like they have like their own like giant UFO stories that they call like the Roswell of Great Britain and stuff like that.
Dude, speaking of Roswell, have you actually watched that TV show?
Yeah, the old one from like the early 2000s and stuff.
I never watched the old one, but they came out with the new one.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, oh yeah, the new one is really good. I only watched season 1 of it. It's more of a the boy, he's the alien, the chick doesn't know, she falls for him. I don't know if the old one was like
Oh,
that, but that's how the new one is.
is it like new or like
It's like
early mid
2020
2000s?
new.
Okay, no, I didn't know they like
Yeah,
redid it, but yeah, that sounds like the
yeah,
old one. So yeah, that's cool they redid that.
yeah. It's really good, especially if you're into aliens, you're into sci-fi stuff.
Yeah,
Really, really good, man. Actually, I'm actually gonna rewatch it tonight, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was watching
yeah.
Dune the other night, which the new Dune,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same guy who actually what I brought up Arrival. It's the same director, and he's quickly becoming one of my favorite directors because he's just so visually artistic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what's causing the static?
Yeah, yeah, you're good, man. Dune. Actually haven't seen that movie. I think they're already coming out with a second one.
Yeah, because it's like part one of two and possibly three.
Mm-hmm.
If
Cool,
they,
cool. Yeah, yeah, man. You know, like who I want to see. I'm trying to think like actors and actresses. What about Emma Stone? What if Emma Stone was in like I couldn't see her in that type of work. No, I want to see Tom Cruise do another Alien movie, dude.
yeah, actually, that's for as many ridiculous movies Tom Cruise does. I actually really appreciate his
Yeah.
acting in War of the Worlds. Like he played
Oh
a
yeah.
really good, concerned father,
Oh yeah. For
and that was
sure.
actually, I think it's Paul Dano as a kid as the son. Riddler from the new Batman. I think it was Paul Dano as when he was younger, if I remember correctly.
Let me actually Google that. I know Jason
Yeah,
Tatum was in it. Dude, in the crazy thing about it is let me see here. Yeah, Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, Tim Robbins, Morana Otto.
yeah. She was
Okay.
the
And
ex-wife, the mother of the children.
Justin Chatwin as Robbie Ferrier. Oh yeah, it's a crazy list, man. What do you think about the movie The Fog?
I don't think I've seen it, honestly.
Yeah, like it's like
Is that
this
an M. Night
old
Shyamalan movie by chance?
dude. I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I'm actually googling it now because they made the 2000 is a 2005 one, which was a remake of the 1980 one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Now the
oh,
2005 one had Tom Welling, Maggie Grace, D. Ray Davis, Salma Blair, um, Kenneth Welch. Like I didn't really have like big names or anything like that, but it was like a really good. It was a really good flick in terms of like I don't know, like I'm really into sci-fi stuff myself. So
yeah,
for me, like maybe I
absolutely.
like it got a really bad rating, but I'm really into sci-fi stuff. So like for me, like I'm just happy to have a sci-fi flick. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
absolutely. Most sci-fi movies get crapped on by critics
Yeah,
anyways, so I mean, I don't really pay attention to critics' reviews. I haven't for a while because they've crapped
yeah.
on most of my favorite movies anyways, and I'm like, yeah, you're dead wrong. You're getting
Well,
paid. They go into every movie telling themselves they're
yeah.
gonna hate it, and then they can't find anything redeeming about it anyways.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, how do you even enjoy a movie if your job is legitimately to critique a movie?
They don't.
You
They
can't
don't.
enjoy a movie.
Nope. They spend their job is to literally critique movies, and I don't think they personally get any enjoyment out of film because of it. And film
Yeah.
is I think one of human beings' best art forms because it's a
Oh yeah.
massive collaboration process of hundreds of individuals all coming together to make one thing. That's wild. That's like an awesome human achievement. And then they got these people just crapping on hundreds
Yeah,
and if
man.
not thousands of people's years worth of work. It's like, man, shut up.
So maybe the answer is the same. Maybe, from that nostalgic perspective, maybe your answer is the same from a child versus now as a man. Who's your favorite actor or actress, like then and now, or has it changed?
Um, what's funny is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm.
He's been a favorite.
Good for good
I
films. Good films.
Yeah, so many good ones. Like I was just watching Inception the other day again.
Good movie. Yeah,
Oh, he should have got some sort of awards for his acting in that movie. He plays a truly, truly disturbed individual.
dude. When you go back and watch Titanic, does it not piss you off? I mean,
I
like,
love that movie, man. As much as it gets crapped on, like now, like dude, that's what
not
got me into
not the
Leo.
movie, not the movie, the scene when he's in the water and he's froze, he's having like hypothermia, and he slips away, and it's just like, why are you both not on the raft or
Right,
the door?
that was a whole door. They could have
Yeah,
both easily fit on it, but it also makes
yeah,
me wonder if she was just as much in the water as him. Why
yeah.
did she not freeze from the hypothermia as fast as he did? Because it took her hours and he was gone quite quick. I know they sped the scenes up and stuff, but
Oh yeah,
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 it's one of those things. Like, and there was so much other debris and rubble around.
yeah.
Why didn't he go swim over? But
Swim to it, yeah.
that's one of those, for the story.
Dude, like
Got to kill him for the
I
story.
remember when I first saw it, I was maybe like 9 years old. I don't remember. Like I watched it with my aunt, and it was so much action in that movie. Like
Yeah,
after the ice, like
yeah.
from the time, I'd say maybe two scenes before the iceberg hit, it's so much going on.
Dude,
So much going on,
it's
dude.
like a wonderful they build a whole world in the ship. Like you get to meet
Oh
all these
yeah,
different characters,
upper
and it
class, lower
yeah,
class.
and you get to see like the whole functionings of all these different people in the ship, and then it kind of like starts weaving in a love story, and then as soon as it hits the love story at its like height, it turns into like a disaster film. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's still like to this day, I think it's a very good movie, man.
The way it's written and the way it's like acted and portrayed is perfect script, perfect actors, perfect
Yeah,
length. Everything is perfect. You talk about this, like I guess you could say poor kid, going trying to find his way onto the boat. Finally finds his way onto there. You have Rose, who's upper class, and it's such a good film, dude.
it
It's such
is.
a good
Like he
film.
even brings his buddy. Like I can't believe I remember his name. It shows how many times I've seen it. Is Fabricio, his buddy, Jack's
Yeah,
buddy. He
yeah.
brings him along, and he looks just as excited to be going too. Like even
You know,
like little tiny side characters are like really like well thought out characters.
I don't remember what exactly happened to his friend. Did his friend actually live or no?
His friend gets shot, I believe, in the chaos. Like when the ship's sinking, I think one of the sailors shoots him.
Holy crap, dude. There's Billy Zane, Bill
Yeah,
Paxton, Kathy
Billy
Bates.
Kathy Bates was fantastic, and she
Kathy
portrays
Bates.
a real person too, somebody who was based off a real character as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Billy Zane was the Rose's husband or to be.
To be, yeah, to be.
Yeah,
Dude, he played a dick.
yeah, he
Oh,
was
he
good.
was a
He
dick.
was so good. Like he was so polite and nice in public, but when he snaps, like you can see like he knows how to swing
Yeah.
from a polite, nice man to that terrifying monster.
Now, this movie was made in 1997.
Yep.
Titanic. That's when it came out. So this is actually the 25th anniversary
Of the
this
movie.
year.
Wow.
December 19th, 1997 by James Cameron. Uh, yeah, so this December will be the 25th anniversary, and that is crazy to think that, dude. That is crazy.
Yep. I remember go seeing
Damn.
that in theaters, and
Check this
that,
out. Check this out. The budget was 200 million and the box office was 2.2 billion. 2.2
what
billion.
does it have what it would be right now as the prices right now? Because 200 million for a movie back in the 90s is a shocking amount of money for a movie.
Dude, I don't know, but what I can tell you is this. I'm gonna give you a list of movies, right? Just bear with me here.
Yeah,
It's only like
absolutely.
10. Just bear with me. I got Piranha 2 in 1982, 1984 I have The Terminator, 1986 Aliens,
Okay, so James
1989
Cameron
The
movies.
Abyss, 1991 Terminator 2, 1994 True Lies, 97 Titanic, '03 Ghost of the Abyss, '05 Aliens of the Deep, '09 Avatar. And shout out to my buddy Pimrika. He's actually working on this movie 2022,
Oh,
2024, Avatar 2 and Avatar 3. Fucking James
yeah.
Cameron is loaded. That dude is fucking
Hmm.
loaded.
Dude, he makes like
He
personal
doesn't make
trips down to
many.
the Titanic,
But
and
dude,
he goes
think
down
about
to
it.
like
He doesn't have the longest. I know it was a lot that I was saying, but he does not have the
no,
longest
his
list of
movie
movies.
credits aren't huge. A lot of the ones that you listed towards the end there, those are more documentaries about when he went into like the Marianas Trench and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and when he went and revisited the Titanic and stuff. But yeah, his movie list isn't huge, but he's one of like the guys who pushes like movie technology further and has made just money off of that alone. And like
Terminator, Titanic, and
Terminator,
Avatar
Titanic.
and Aliens
Yep.
alone, you are set for life, dude.
Yeah, especially Avatar. Like that movie changed. I mean, as
Dude.
silly as like I love that movie myself, but like, you know, a lot of people don't like the script and
But
it
for
preaches
a
a lot of environmental.
2009, for a 2009 flick, when that it was that whole 3D and Blu-rays and all this and that, when that I remember watching that on a bootleg DVD.
Oh,
On a bootleg DVD, it was amazing, amazing. So I can
did
only
you see it in
imagine
theaters?
no,
Oh
I can only imagine
man.
popping that in on 4K right now. I can only
Oh, you haven't
imagine
done it?
like
You
just
haven't done it? Oh, it's shocking, dude.
no. I mean, the new one comes out this year, so I'll probably rewatch the new one before or the old one before the new one. But just to think about like that's 13 years ago, bro.
Dude, the
Look how
movies,
good it looked.
the the CGI in that movie still holds up. I just watched it a few months ago
Yeah.
on the 4K TV, you know, with the Blu-ray and all that. It is shockingly beautiful. Like especially when they're walking in the forest for the first time at night when everything's lighting up and like Jake's getting all excited about everything that he's touching and seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like to this day, that part of the movie just shocking.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
I can't even imagine what the new one's gonna look like this year. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
especially since it's taking place mostly underwater.
Dude, I'd be wanting to ask one of the guys in the community because he's working on the film with
That's
visual
Penne.
effects. Yeah, but he's probably under some like freaking NRD. He can't even talk
Oh,
about it with his wife. He says, "I'm like,
yeah,
dude, I'm sorry, man. Look, I get, I'm not supposed to. I'd probably be talking to my wife. I'm just saying,
yeah,
and I get you're
yeah.
not supposed to. I mean, it's your wife, dude. Come on.
It's got to be hard, like
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
not being able to say anything about what you're working on, especially when it's something like if you're a
Dude,
fan of
he
it.
knew for 3 years Tony Stark was going to die in Endgame, and he couldn't say it.
Yeah, I remember him saying that, and I was like, dude, how do you keep that a secret
Oh
to
yeah, you watched the
anybody,
interview. I
man?
was like, oh
Yeah, oh
come
yeah,
on,
oh yeah.
come
Yeah,
on.
as soon as I heard that he, you know, was in film and stuff, like I had to know, and because that's just cool knowing like what movies he worked on, especially because movies are one of my favorite things
Man,
about life. Like, so
yeah. So just to ask a question, this is the name of the show, man. What does nostalgic mean to you?
Anything that takes you back to a younger, maybe not even younger. It could be like previous time when you it makes you happy. You know,
So it's always good thoughts, never anything dark, bad.
no, because if you have a nostalgia about something negative, that's not nostalgia. That's probably PTSD. You know, it shouldn't
Oh
be a
man.
happy moment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. So give me a time. Do you have any stories like give me a good story, man. Give me something nostalgic that happened during your 20s. Anything, man.
Um, Man, the 20s was a honestly a pretty turbulent time in my life.
Okay.
I was a professional tattoo artist at the time, and I lived in different states, like across like the West Coast and the South and stuff. Um,
So you were a traveling tattoo artist,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, like I had a few places that I had lived for, a year, 2 years and stuff. But yeah, I got to travel just because I knew how to tattoo and had a license to do it, so I could pretty much go wherever I wanted in the country and be like, I need a job and show them
Yeah.
pictures. And I had a job, so I had to do it, man. I
Man.
had to go around the country. So I mean, a lot of that time, the things that most hit me is music. When I think back to my 20s, I don't think back a lot of like
Yeah.
the because I worked so much, like building up my skill and all that, and having to go through the if you ever watch a tattoo show and you see all that drama and everybody yelling at
Yeah.
each other, that is real. Like, so I can't,
Oh wow.
I've never been able to watch the shows. Like the majority of the shops that I worked in were like
Freaking
that.
Ink Master and stuff.
Yeah, like everybody yelling at each other and
Yeah.
egos and stuff like that. So I couldn't work in that environment anymore myself. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so music is the big one for my 20s, like songs. Like I hear it and
Okay.
be like, that immediately takes me back to like Arizona or the desert, driving in the desert, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
But
get that,
Avatar is
man.
actually one of those movies, as weird as it is, like because I was living out in Arizona at the time
Oh wow, okay.
and working at a tattoo shop out there and going and seeing Avatar in the theaters and in 3D and just being like, dude, just mind blown, a whole bunch of
Did
what the fuck.
anybody ever get an Avatar tattoo?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, that even now
Oh
people still like you can pull up like on Google, like some people do some amazing, beautiful portraits of like Jake and Neytiri and yeah.
So, dude, we're gonna definitely touch on to it during the Halloween month, and I know I'm big into horror. I know you said you're big
Oh
into it as
yeah.
well. So we'll definitely have something for the month of October with the whole
Yeah.
31 days of Halloween. But just to briefly touch on it, during your days of tattooing, because I know with my tattoo artist, he talked a lot about like he swears he lived in a haunted house. So for you, like, did you
Man.
what's one of the craziest stories you've heard from a client?
Oh, craziest
Because
story I've
before you
heard
go,
from a
like think
client?
about it. You being a tattoo artist, a barber, a hairstylist,
Yeah.
you're more than just that. You're actually a counselor as well
Oh,
because you're
dude.
you're
Yeah.
listening.
No joke. That's
So
one of the reasons I had to retire from tattooing was I literally could not be everybody's counselor slash psychologist anymore.
yeah.
I because I took on everybody else's problems to an extent that I probably shouldn't have, and it just rotted my brain away, man.
So
Like,
what's some stories, man?
um,
It doesn't even have to
I
be
can,
like a horror story. It could be anything. Something funny, something just outlandish. Anything.
actually, I can tell you one from my personal experience.
Okay. Okay.
That's probably more interesting than one I would remember from somebody else. Is the area I lived in Arizona was freak. I don't even know if I can say it is, but they were frequented by Hell's Angels. And like they were trying to like come into our shop and like take over our shop at
What
one
the
point. Like,
fuck?
dude, they were, yeah, like started posting their flyers for their bike runs and stuff in our windows, like without our permission and stuff, and like started showing up a lot. And then one day, dude, they ended up having like a crazy shootout with a rival gang, like a mile away from our shop, like behind us and stuff. And it actually was on the news
Oh
because
wow.
it was huge. It was that big that it made like national news where they like the government was like shutting down highways and stuff. So there was no like incoming to that area.
So this was
It
basically
was,
Sons of Anarchy, essentially.
dude, yeah, man. Like, and like we weren't a part of it, but like the fact that they were like slowly coming into this shop and like overstaying their welcome on a very regular basis to the point where it was becoming uncomfortable for me.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not for the other people that were working there. Like they seem more into it. Like I think one of the guys was actually affiliated with them too, and I think he was the reason they started showing up to begin with. But I haven't seen that guy since like
Oh
2010,
man.
so who knows what happened. But
Nice,
yeah, I'll
nice.
never forget that, man. Seeing like first it's just like regular cop cars, then it's county sheriffs going by, and then other counties, and then dark vehicles with lights, and then helicopters and more ambulances than I've ever seen at one point in time. And it was just
Yeah.
unbelievably wild. And I'm like, we're watching the TV. And it's like, hey, there's the guy who won't stop coming into the shop. He's right on the news. Like, he's a part of it. And we didn't see them again. It
Dude,
became suddenly really quiet.
one of the craziest things is when you like see someone you know on the news. Like they're not on the news for like Girl Scout
It's,
cookies. They're on the
yeah,
news for
not
like,
anymore, man.
you
The
know.
news is the most negative source of bad information all day. So if somebody's making the news, it's not for a good thing.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I know that person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad when it's somebody that's in relation to you too.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, hey,
And
if you could help us track them down, there's a reward. It's like, as much as I'd love to have the money, I can't actually tell you that information. It's just kind of funny, man.
yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's hard.
Oh man, dude, it's
But yeah,
crazy.
yeah, so
Are you?
that's one. Go
Yeah, yeah,
ahead.
yeah. No, no, go, man, go.
That's just
That's
a
a crazy
wild like
one. It's a
story.
freak.
Yeah, that one just made me that's always one I think about when somebody's like, what's one of the craziest things that happened at a shop? It's like, well, I'll
Yeah.
never forget that.
Oh
Like
man,
ever.
talk about freaking coworkers, bro.
Yeah, like thanks guys.
Yeah.
Especially because they're more known white oriented and I'm double brown, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Dude,
that's uncomfortable for me on a regular basis.
we'll circle back around to some
Yeah.
crazy tattooing stories. What
Oh
is the
yeah, we can
origin
always
of the
go. I
last?
can.
Yeah, man. What's the origin of the last name Kharon? Is that
That
Egyptian, bro?
that is actually not my actual last name, but I've had it as my Facebook name since like 2009.
Okay.
And that's how so many people know me that like I just keep it as my Facebook name
It's
and I sign
I believe they call that a handle. It's an amazing
a, a
handle.
handle. Yeah. It is the Greek god of the he ferries people into the underworld on the river Styx.
Bro. Okay, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
This is
Dante's
crazy.
Inferno.
This is crazy as shit. I legitimately am into all this shit, bro. This is why this works, man. This is why this
Yeah,
works, man. Like, I want to learn more about the Greek mythology. I want to learn more about Egyptian culture,
absolutely.
Chinese, Japanese, just anything cultural that I can soak in like a freaking sponge. Because, dude, the world is such a big place, man. It's
Yeah.
such a massive place with just even like the Mayan culture. That's
Oh, it's
bro.
beautiful, man.
Tell me you've seen the movie
Pyramids in the
Apocalypto.
oh, of course, dude.
Oh,
Pyramids in the
thank you.
jungle is better than pyramids in the desert any day, man.
Yeah.
It is beautiful beyond belief.
Mel Gibson, like that was the dude. I prom like for you know what's crazy around that time period, right? There were so many flicks, mostly like Asian culture flicks with like karate, kung fu, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Where we have the subtitles on for whatever reason. Apocalypto is one of those movies outside of like Jet Li flicks that's subtitle base. I don't give a damn. That is
Oh
one of
yeah,
the top
absolutely.
movies ever,
Yes, yes.
ever.
And I think it adds because if you can read it fast enough and still catch everything that's going on, not paying attention to the words, it is an incredible movie. Incredible.
Incredible,
Yeah, like that's one of like
incredible.
my dad always says. My dad's quite old. He's 79. He says he doesn't like a lot of new movies, which is understandable because a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just computerized and he understands that. He likes but he that's one of those movies that he will tell everybody he still enjoys because it's so good. It's like,
Oh, it's
yeah,
really good. You remember
it
that
is.
scene where like it's like a scene where they have to run. You remember that scene?
Yes.
They have to like, oh, that dude. I was just like, what, freaking Mel Gibson, bro.
Yeah.
D-
And the
it-
cinematography is just like it adds to that movie where somebody else that wasn't as skilled with a camera wouldn't have been
yeah,
able to make that movie half as beautiful as it is.
nah, nah. It's
And
it's
yeah, it's
crazy.
but yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that the name I believe it depends on where you are in the world, but some people
Mm-hmm.
say it's pronounced like Charon, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine with me too. But yeah, it's just one of the Greek gods of the underworld. He brings people to their destination in hell,
Yeah.
basically. Ferries over souls.
Cool,
And
man.
I
Cool.
always liked like that kind of stuff. Like, and it comes
Yeah.
to like the character where I enjoyed him is I don't know if you've ever heard of like Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. Video game. Yeah.
Yeah, the game. Yeah, yeah. And there's like an old series, like trilogy of books, and it's written
yeah.
in poem form from like the 1600s and stuff by the guy named Dante Alighieri or whatever, or Alighieri.
Speaking of
But yeah,
1600s,
that's where.
did
Don't quote me on the time for that when that book or poem, whatever,
oh
was
no no no
written. By
no
the way,
nah
but
no
it's hundreds and hundreds of years back.
I was just saying, like, speaking of 1600s, like today I was driving, right? And I was like seeing some buildings. It was actually my old elementary school. And I'm looking at this school and I'm just like, yo, man, like this building looks pretty old. Looks pretty old. And it had me thinking 300 years in the future, right? Are some of our houses even gonna still be around? Obviously, you have to
No,
do maintenance on like roofs and stuff, but it's like, is your house still even gonna be functional?
dude, this
Like
house that I live in currently probably won't be functional in 10 years. It's a very very old farmhouse in the hundreds of
does
years
that
old. I mean, it's made
does
out
that bother you?
of all
Because you have
brick.
statues. You got
No,
statues. Like you have to move all this stuff.
I've the whole reason I don't have the fanciest of displays that I have just pretty relatively basic garage shelves is
Dude,
because
that's what
I
I got,
know
man. Bro, it looks great. Fuck that, man.
it does. It looks great, but I intend on making like completely custom displays, but I have them on garage shelves right now because it's not permanent. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
knew that when I started getting like especially like the quarter scales and stuff, I knew that my displays were going to have to be a non-permanent solution for
yeah,
that's temporary, very much temporary.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually excited for when I do have to leave because I know the next place I go is going to be my a house that I buy myself, and then I can finally do like a permanent display. So I figured
Yeah.
in the meantime, while I'm collecting statues, get all the statues I want. So when I move, I can build the displays how I want them. Because
So
this
when you
line,
do
the court
move,
line, this ain't going nowhere. It's just getting bigger.
I have a buddy. He's actually selling some court pieces. By the way, um,
Man, I need to know which
yeah,
ones because there's the guy I'm getting all the rest of mine from
yeah.
is cool, but he doesn't have two that
What are
I
you
need.
what are you missing? And I'll
Um,
take a note of it.
the two that I'm looking for, one of them I know is almost impossible. Is a Vargas. It's
A Vargas.
a Varkas, like Avarkus or something,
Okay.
and then
And what
Odium.
else? ODM. Okay.
Odium. Yeah, those two he doesn't have, the guy that I'm getting the rest of the line from, but and there's
Yeah, I
like
would
one on
definitely ask
sideshow I'm
him.
gonna get that the guy doesn't have, but I'm not in a big rush to get him because it was just released early last year or late last year, and they generally take a little longer to sell out. So I'm not in a big
Yeah,
rush,
dude, it's crazy because
which is a
you know,
shame.
A Milcar has like so many sketches of just new
I'm
ones he
sure,
wants to put out, and it's just like he wants them to do it. He really does, and some of the
dude.
artwork is just, man, it's amazing.
I have all their
So
books like on my bottom
yeah,
shelf down there.
every
Um,
single one.
yeah, I have all the books. I've read them all, and it is probably the one of the most beautifully created pieces of art, not just in statue form, but in the way they're building their world.
Yeah.
Like I've said from day one, the first time I got like Malavestros, he was the first one I got, the jester that's pulling apart the scroll. I told myself if I was going to get the Court of the Deadline, I needed to get him, and he happened to be the first one I got. So,
Is there
um,
so for somebody who
seeing
doesn't know anything about Court of the Dead, what would the first thing you would advise to do? Would it be to pick up one of the books to read,
yes,
or
yes, I would say get. There's the first book called Chronicle of the Underworld.
okay?
It is like a character introduction for like 50 something characters. It tells you all the different places in this world. It tells you why it's going on, who all the characters are, what like there's like different factions, like
Mm.
Bone, Flesh, and Spirit. Dude, it's like this huge thought out world that
Which is crazy, man.
it is, man. Like it is just as I'm not gonna say just as deep as like a like Batman lore because they've got 80
Yeah.
plus years, but the way they've built it and wrote it, like it is just this massive world. And the way they're doing it too is super cool. Is like they start with a statue and then they build a story around it. But now
Hmm.
like that's I think that's how they started it. But now that they have like the books and stuff, now they can pull from their books. And there's so many characters that like
But there's only one human, right, in it? Like that's sick.
Shard is yeah, Shard is the one human and I guess in future books that they're writing, she is going to be one of the main characters in it,
Hmm.
like where you're basically going through the story in the world through her eyes,
Yeah.
which is going to be,
So
I think, is going to be great. But that'll be years from now. They're
so honest opinion, since you have most of them, do you feel they should still use a mill car, or do you feel like they should switch sculptors? Like honest opinion.
they need to bring Emil Carr back.
Okay.
The books, like how rich and beautiful his artwork is, and how wild it is. Like man, like I know he had said like especially with Elianastus, the
Mm-hmm.
forearm girl, the ghost, the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
that his involvement was slim. Like he didn't really have anything to do with it. But like the ones he did had something to do with like are some of my favorite pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's
they're
crazy
just
because
insane.
I'm looking at your Mister Freeze behind there, and he introduced me to J.P. Mavinga, and I don't know if you caught
Yeah.
that one, but I was just like, yo,
Yep.
like,
His
how do you
Thanos on
think
throne,
of a
man.
freaking Thanos on throne? How do you think of Sub Zero? He said he was just like looking at a refrigerator one day, and the grill on the bottom of the refrigerator. He was just like, I could make that into a backpack for Mister Freeze, and it's just like,
You know,
how do you think of that? Like,
I was watching him the live of that, and as soon as he said the refrigerator, I went over there and turned him around and looked at the back to see if I could see what he was talking about, and I totally saw it. Like, oh yeah, there's a refrigerator inspiration, and it's amazing.
yeah,
Like, because
yeah,
when you think about like what part of it is, if you've ever seen like the back of a refrigerator or had to take
yeah.
one apart, you see that part and you're just like, man, that is cool. And I think it adds like a layer of like this guy built that himself.
Yeah,
like the pack.
it's also crazy because there's so much detail on both those pieces, Mr. Freeze and Thanos on Throne, but so many people never get to actually see the back because they're against the walls.
Yeah.
So as an artist, do you feel like that would be hard as from an artist perspective, knowing that that part won't actually get appreciated the way it should?
Um, I think because I do a lot of different forms of art myself. I think every bit of what you do, no matter how little or how much can be seen, if you put the same amount of attention to detail and
Passion,
care
yeah,
into it,
yeah,
people will want to see that. Like I've heard like people say, "Oh, set up a mirror behind it."
yeah,
Like, dude, that is like the perfect way to show off like how beautiful. Like my guy who I can get the court pieces from, he has a Thanos on throne in a box, just waiting,
yeah.
you know, and that's like 9 miles
Whoa, whoa,
down
whoa,
the
whoa,
road,
whoa,
and it's
whoa.
awesome to know.
He
Yeah,
has Thanos on Throne.
yeah. We'll talk after this about price if you're interested, but it is literally 9 miles down the road from me. Where I, dude,
Is it the
like the whole
exclusive
part of
one?
it.
Is it the exclusive one?
Give me about Give me about 30 seconds and I'll let you know. I'll pull it up right
Okay.
now because he sent me a picture of the box and I
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah,
"Dude,
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
sell that right away." I'm like, "Keep that
yeah,
keep that
man.
on the down low for a few because knowing that it's right there, like I wouldn't be scared about shipping at all."
Oh yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy, dude. As you're pulling that up, Thanos on Throne is one of those pieces that I feel like anybody, and I mean anybody, can appreciate. Oh snaps! What do we got here? Oh,
I'm taking a screenshot of it real
are we
quick
doing
so I
this
can
live?
zoom in.
Are we doing this
Yeah, why
live?
not, man? I'm gonna show you a picture of the box. I don't
Okay.
know where it'll say if it's exclusive or not,
Oh no, no, no! You're good, man. You're
but
so good. Sideshow collectibles. That's what throw my cat.
Thanos on
One
Throne
piece.
account.
Whoa, edition size what?
Oh no, it's like 106, I believe, of 3,500.
Of
Dude, this guy,
Okay, so it's not
this
it's not
this
the
guy,
EX, but it doesn't matter. It's not the EX, but it
no,
doesn't matter.
this guy, he has uh like 30 years in the collecting like statue community. He's built up huge relationships with individuals.
Yeah.
Every sideshow piece he gets are within the first 150 numbered. So you're
Oh
getting
wow.
like extremely low numbers. Like, dude, like
Yeah.
I think my Malifestros is like number 6. Like that
Ooh.
one's yeah,
Okay.
dude. Like all the ones I've gotten from him are under like number 100 and under. He only gets low numbered. He's got artist proof ones. He's got dude, he's got a basement full
Dude, that is crazy,
that
man. That is
he sells. Yeah,
certainly crazy. Oh man, dude. That's crazy,
it's it's
man.
it's relatively it's relatively expensive, like it would be, but
Yeah.
dude, it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
also. Hold on, let me show you. Or let me tell you something. It is
Yeah, yeah. I'm
seven
good,
hundred
man.
dollars cheaper than anybody else is selling it.
Yeah, we will definitely we
We'll
will
talk.
definitely talk later
Yeah,
because I have an actual idea and I'll tell you after. But
yeah.
yeah, man, that's cool. What do you feel is the next best Thanos outside of Thanos on Throne?
Oh, dude. I mean, I really because I like the MCU
Yeah.
Thanos a lot. I really like that Seated Queen Studios from Endgame Thanos.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah,
The,
that's a good one.
yeah,
That's a
like
good one. Yeah.
the portraits on that are dead on, and it captures that scene where he returns to Earth. Like
Yeah.
different Thanos. He's not the same Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he's just sitting
Yeah.
there waiting, like that is just,
That hey that
one of those.
hey dude, you got me so pumped now, man.
Man,
Cause
yeah, well, I'll
you
have
got me
to
so pumped. You
I'll
got me
have to
so
talk to him
pumped,
about
man.
it, man. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have his personal number. We don't even contact through the internet anymore. It's just I just call him, even just to bullshit now at this point,
yeah.
because he's become a friend rather than just like this guy that I happen to by super huge lucky chance find on eBay originally
Mm-hmm.
out of just
Yeah.
yeah, and he happens to live right down the road from me, and he has all the pieces of the Court of the Dead that I want, and many others. Like he has
Yeah, for
like
sure, dude.
he has some beautiful Avatar pieces.
Uh-huh.
Like seeing the life size bust of the characters and how big they are.
Dude,
Going back to Avatar, like the heads on them, man, they're like that, dude. Like compared to mine, they're huge.
well, when you see them like next to the humans, they're definitely bigger than
Yeah,
humans, like
they're
without
like
a
nine,
doubt.
10 feet tall.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
they're
he's the guy that I sent you. I was at his house that day when I sent you that
yeah.
the Queen Studios Alita bust he
Yeah.
just got in, and I had to touch it. Yeah, man,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. You're like I had to touch it.
dude, I
It's
had
silicone. I had to
to.
touch it.
It was like touching a cold person.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It was
man.
weird,
Crazy.
man. I don't trust it personally in statue form, but
Really, you don't?
no, because it's not the full face. It's like silicone glued on, I believe. It's not like a full dump of silicone from the inside of his head or her head all the way through.
So like I'm really confused because what's the difference from like isn't that what they use for like breast implants?
I believe so.
So I'm confused. Like what's really the difference? Like
Because they call it medical grade silicone. I think it's just liquid form
because
in the
don't with
implants,
implants you have to basically redo it every like 5 to 10 years anyway.
something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
So if
I
it
don't know the
I
difference.
don't know either, man.
I just
I'm just I don't know.
I personally don't trust it. I just feel like if it got
Yeah.
there's yeah, it might hold
I
up, but if it holds up longer than I'm around, that's great.
maybe it does. Maybe and here's the messed up thing about it: the people who actually are gonna wait to find out, it actually sucks for them if you're an older collector and it's like, dude, you either A won't be around or B you won't care about collecting at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Or you
so
come
what are
down
you
with
waiting
some
for? What are
yeah,
you waiting for? Is my point. Like, if you
yeah.
are interested, there's no need to wait. Me, I'm not even interested in it, so like,
Mm-mm.
I'm not waiting.
No. No, I wouldn't get one. But I mean,
Yeah,
and it'd be like if you have like one of those silicone busts in your house when you're 80 and you're coming down with, memory problems, you're gonna be walking down your hallway and you see some guy hanging out in your room. Who's that? Every day
fucking
you're scaring yourself with the $10,000 Doctor Strange you just got.
fucking Terminator in your house, man. It's
Yeah. Oh
crazy,
yeah. You'd
dude.
be panicking. Why is that guy's face blown out?
With a laser eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Every
Oh
day.
man,
So
dude,
I don't know.
crazy,
Silicone.
man.
Yeah.
Dude, so going back to that '70s show,
Yes. I'll
out
always talk about that
of
70s show.
okay, we'll break it down. We'll break it down. I'm gonna ask you some quick questions on that '70s show. Out of the two main parents, which is your favorite parent? For me,
Dude, it's
I
got to be
love the mom, but I love
Kitty.
Red.
Yeah, dude, I can't decide between the two because Red and Kitty
Well,
as parents are
you need
like
them both,
you do. Yeah, they
but I'm
they
just saying, who's your favorite?
Kitty. Kitty,
Ooh,
absolutely,
okay.
dude. She's got some of my favorite lines that even though that is the show that is always on in the background when I'm not watching something specific, and I have it on Blu-ray and I've been abusing it on Blu-ray for the last like 5, 6 years.
I need to buy
Um,
it. I really do.
dude, yeah. Like people are always saying, oh, and they need to on streaming, just buy the Blu-rays, man. Like it's
Yeah,
so cheap, and you can watch it whenever you want, and it adds a little bit to knowing that you can have that in your hand. Like I got a
yeah,
sweet
yeah.
sweet collector's edition where it's set up like old like 1970s records.
Hmm.
Like they open all the seasons open up like an old school vinyl records, and it goes into a box that was like old record sets boxes would come.
Yeah,
So it's, I don't know, dude. It's just, it's one of those shows, like, to go back to like the whole, where did it, how did it start for me? Like I said, I wanted to, touch on that. That show, my family, when we were kids, we used to watch like Roseanne and Full House and, TGIF shows and stuff
and
back in the,
just real quick for you continue, for anybody
yeah.
who's listening on Amazon, you can actually buy the whole complete series for $38 with free
Yeah.
shipping.
Oh
Like,
yeah. And it's so
it's not
worth it.
bad.
Eight
Yeah.
seasons. You can kind of mildly skip over a lot of season 8 because Randy is a pretty awfully written character, and he
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't like
brings the show
him.
down. Randy's awful. I
I
mean, they
didn't
made a
like
lot
how
of
Eric left. Like, you
they made
know.
a lot of bad decisions for that final season, and it suffers immensely for it. But
Yeah. So you
there's,
so you would watch Roseanne with your family?
oh yeah,
I
dude,
did
like all
too.
the like
John
the
Goodman's a
John
boss, bro.
Goodman is okay. I've said, I gotta say it. Going back to tattooing, John Goodman is one of the few human beings that I would get a portrait of me tattooed on, or a portrait of him tattooed on me.
Okay.
I love John Goodman. He
Yep.
looks so healthy now too. Like I'm so proud of him. Like he's lost so much
Yeah.
weight. He looks so good. Like he's gonna be around a lot longer than he would have if he had maintained that 350 pounds or whatever he was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Goodman's the man. But like all the Family Matters and
Yep.
all the
Dude.
early mid '90s
So
shows.
seems like we're going down a sitcom rabbit hole. Now I'll say this from like it probably ended about 2013. 2000, no, that was 23. So 2006, maybe 2006. Um, my wife and kids was amazing. George Lopez was nice. Like you said, Full House. Roseanne. Dude, here's one because we were talking about aliens earlier. Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Third Rock from the
fantastic
Sun.
show. Yeah, it's so great
Love
when you
it,
can
man.
stream it now,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's such a great show. John Lithgow. Since then, he's become, one of my favorite actors. Anytime I know he's in something, no matter how small the role, it's
yeah.
exciting. It's like, yeah, man, you're still in movies.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Christian
And,
Johnson,
yep.
amazing. Dude, Wayne Knight, the cop.
Wayne Knight has one of my favorite moments in movie history, and it's from Jurassic Park when when
Nobody can hear you. Nobody's listening.
yeah, it's with Dodson when he opens up the can of the Barbasol. Wayne Knight lets out this squeal when he's laughing that is like not even humanly possible. It sounds like a squeak from like some sort of machine. It could have even been a raptor sound.
Yeah,
And there's like YouTube remixes of the song. Like people have made songs out of that video and stuff, or
yeah,
out of him laughing. But yeah, Wayne Knight, because of Jurassic Park, is one of my favorites. He was on Seinfeld.
uh, yeah. He was on Seinfeld. I feel like Wayne Knight, like it's funny because like he was in
He's
so
a
in
part of the
love.
childhood.
Oh, definitely, dude. He was in love with Sally was her name.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Sally. And well, I'm trying to think like who was the brother? It was the other guy. Uh,
French
Harry.
Stewart,
Yeah,
right?
Harry.
Was it French
Yeah,
Stewart?
yeah. French
Yeah.
Stewart. Yeah, he played Harry.
Yep.
He was like he always was like this, like Hey, what's going on? Like he was always like that.
Yeah, that was a great
It's
show, man.
crazy. Yeah, that was one of the shows I would always have on with my
Hmm.
mom. And I touched on it before. My great
Yeah,
grandma's the lady who raised me.
yeah.
That's who I called mom,
I
and
was adopted by my
she'd always have it on, so I watched
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I was adopted by my great aunt and uncle on my biological mother's side. I know that's a tongue
Hmm.
twister when you say it, but so I was adopted into my own family, so I know exactly what that's like. They're much older than
Yeah.
parents and that like our age group. Like
Oh yeah, for
our
sure.
parents are much older than the rest of the people that I like grew up with's parents were.
Yeah, yeah, hands down, hands down.
So yeah, so we watched shows and stuff, and then unfortunately, where like that '70s show became like a part of my life is my mom died in 1998. That show started a few months later, and it kind of brought my dad, my sister, and I back together as a family to watch TV together and stuff. And that was like the one show we would watch every week was that
Yeah,
'70s show. So it became like probably like I'd say like it became like my family too,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
dude. You
has
you grew
literally
up with
just
these
stuck with
shows.
me. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that show more than any other one that I've ever watched has stuck with me. I don't know why. I
but
think it was
what's
probably
crazy?
because of that.
Like you got to think about the time period that it came. Then you're watching it, and it's so many seasons and episodes. And think about it, it's a group of friends who, in all reality, they're all pretty different personalities.
Oh yeah,
Like in
absolutely.
all reality, like you have, like just a group of people, and then you have the elements of them being in school, the elements of them dating, getting jobs, finding out who, like, even the one guy was finding out who his dad was.
Yeah, Hyde going through the
Yeah, Hyde.
multiple
Yeah, and
fathers.
yeah, and then you have the obviously, like, them going downstairs smoking joints. I mean, it's so many different, like, elements that people can relate to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one of the things
So
the reason that show did so successful is they're one of the few shows that had the same director from for every single episode through the entire from season 1 to season 8. It was David Trainer
yeah,
and the same writers, and I think they were
yep,
just they were so in the cast too was so in tune with each other by
yeah,
dude the end of
yeah,
season 2, the beginning of season 3, you can see like the cast just like they found their characters, and then they were able to write better because each of the different actors and actresses found their characters and who they are, so they were able to write better because of it.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
that show grows wonderfully from you can see like first season is got some of the best that '70s show jokes. It's often overlooked, like as a good season, but man, it's got some of the funniest stuff that I wish they would have brought up once or twice more. But yeah, there's that show, man.
yeah,
I
and it's
actually did a
also.
I did a very colorful portrait of Red Foreman
Oh,
a
really?
while back. Yeah, I got it sitting over right next to where I on my bookshelf I keep the movie or the Blu-ray case. I have a frame portrait that I did of Red Foreman.
And, like, not to,
I should
like,
actually.
like, what's up with Lisa Robin Kelly,
She died,
who
dude.
well, I know she died, but, like, what happened though?
With her,
Like, yeah, like, that was
like
just
they
was
recast
crazy.
her and stuff. Like she had to leave the show because she had like drug and alcohol
That was
addiction problem again, and they recast her, and it was unfortunate because the
yeah.
recasting was not good, man, not good at all.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, like, figure out, like, what all happened with that show, like, cuz they came out with that 80s show. Did you hear
Oh,
about
that
that?
was yeah, that was completely separate, and it was absolutely
Okay.
awful, man. It really was. Give me
Hmm.
1 second. I'm trying to find a picture real fast to send to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. And then there was another one called Days Like These.
Yeah, that
It's
was
a
the original. the original one of the working titles that they
Oh,
were
that
going
was
to
a
go with before the show, or it might have been the
okay.
UK version
Yeah,
as
that was a
well.
UK version.
Okay,
And then what about that '90s show that just had a
that's
pilot
that's
that never aired, or
no,
did it maybe?
that '90s show is they're not, I don't want to call it a reboot because it's not. It's with Red and Kitty back, and
Right.
like I was saying earlier today, that they just announced that 5 of the 6 original kids are coming back as like guest appearances. It's Eric and Donna's kid hanging
But it's
out
still
at,
Terry Turner.
yeah, it's
I
all
mean
the
his
writers,
wife.
yeah,
Okay.
writers and stuff like that, and Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp, Red and Kitty, they're back. They were the first
Mm-hmm.
ones to sign back, dude. They did like a couple of pictures and they remade the house exactly the
Okay.
same. And
Uh.
I don't think it's going to be bad because if Red and Kitty, the actors themselves came back and were willing to do it, I don't think it's tainted or
So
is
so
going to
what
be
they're
bad
saying
because they wouldn't.
is it says the show will revolve around Leah Foreman, the daughter of Eric Foreman and Donna
Yeah,
Pinciotti, forming
Donna
bonds with
agreed to
other
Leia.
teenagers as she spends the summer of 1995 with her grandparents Red and Kitty in Point Place, Wisconsin, 15 and a half years after the events of that '70s show concluded on December 31st, 1979. That's a
And
great, yeah,
what's great about it too? That '70s show was 20 years after that, after it took place. Like it started in the '90s,
yeah.
and now that '90s show is 20 years ago.
Oh, so
Yeah,
it's
I
actually
love that.
perfect timing.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
perfect.
yeah.
Perfect timing. They're just starting a little earlier in the decade than that '70s show did. They started at the end of the '90s, where we're,
Cool,
earlier in.
man.
Yeah. So I'm really excited, honestly. Like I'm gonna have to renew Netflix. Like I haven't watched anything Netflix in quite some time, but I
Yeah,
might have
so
to get that
I'll
just for the
also be
show.
putting this. I'll also be putting this up for the podcast listeners. So, if for the podcast listeners, definitely go ahead and check out the YouTube video. It's actually showing a picture of some of Tone's work of
Yeah, there's
Mr.
Red right
Red
there.
Foreman.
Yeah, that was just a couple years ago I did that,
Dude,
and that's it's
there should have been a foot in the background. Get it?
dude, for real, absolutely. Uh, I actually remember this scene specifically.
Yeah.
Uh, I think he says he's talking about them hide smoking and getting caught, and he looks at Kitty and he goes, "I just don't want it," and he just like stares at her, and that's what
Oh
that
yeah.
is, just
Yeah.
him staring at her. And I like ridiculous amounts of color, so
Yeah. Cool,
that's
man. Cool.
yeah,
That's what's up. That is
yeah.
definitely
That
what's
that
up, man.
that show has a special place in my heart. That's for sure. Helped me
Yeah.
through a really hard. I helped my family really through a really hard time. Why does it keep moving?
Yeah. No, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. It's always
Yeah.
like an inside joke now about the predator noise. No biggie. It's just StreamYard,
Is,
bro.
is
But
it is that the sound it makes? It's like a predator sound.
yeah,
What
it
does it
makes a
do? Like the
predator sound.
clicks? Is it the predator clicks? Like that?
It's like
Okay, okay,
it's all good, man. That's why like now I just keep my phone like all the way over there so it just doesn't
okay,
happen to me. It's funny because the person who it happens to, they're actually not able to hear it.
okay. That's exactly it. I didn't. I had no idea. I had
Yeah.
no idea, man.
So if you can't hear it, that means it's you. If you can hear it, that means it isn't you, which is weird,
Okay.
but whatever. But no, man, that's really cool, dude. Like I could talk about that '70s show all day.
Me too. Me too.
I love Kelso.
Yeah.
I like how what's the Wilson comes on there, Pinciotti. What's up,
Yeah, yeah.
Pinciotti?
Owen Wilson as Casey Kelso is
Casey Kelso.
one of the few cameos in the show that worked so
Oh,
well.
so well.
Like a lot of them felt like a little like too cheesy. Like they didn't feel like they fit into the cast. But Owen Wilson as
Yeah,
Casey Kelso fit right into that cast perfect.
yeah.
Like he
He's like
wasn't
also like tall and
overacted.
slender like him. Like it was
Yeah,
like
and they look
the
alike. And
everything.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was just fantastic casting. And he didn't cheese it up like a lot of the other guest stars did.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
he felt the most real and believable as guest stars on that show. Like, yeah,
yeah,
Casey Kelso and
yeah,
Kitty's
definitely.
swooning over him. Like, that is just so funny. And she gets all hot for Casey and has dreams about him and stuff.
Yeah. What about Bob, the Pinciotti's dad?
Bob looks just like my grandpa. And we've been saying that since we were young, that Bob looks like our grandpa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So,
With the
and
afro
Bob's
and all?
got without the afro. Thank God. Like, if my grandpa had an afro, that would be the most contradicting thing he could possibly do for who he is as a person.
Dude, so it's funny because Red's always
He'd have
making
done it
fun
in
of
the
him
70s. I don't know.
because of like the branch of service he's in. He's like,
Oh yeah,
because he's like
National
Navy
Guard.
or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, National Guard. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Red was in the Navy, and Bob
yeah,
is National Guard, and Red did not approve of Bob sticking around at home
yeah, yeah.
while he was
Cool,
out fighting
man.
in two wars, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Man,
Which is
dude.
crazy to think like that backstory with Red goes back all the way to World
Oh,
War
yeah.
II, then Korea, you know, like it wasn't just one war.
Hmm. Yeah, which is why he's so like hard on the
Oh
kids. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah. That he's a rep Kitty to quote Kitty, he's irreparably damaged by war. And it's true.
Dude, is there any show that either tops it or is as like, or I guess is a close second for in your eyes that you can always go back and watch?
Breaking Bad.
Really? Talk
Yeah.
about it, man.
Breaking
Talk
Bad.
about it.
That is you ever see it? Oh, there's one of my kitties in the background there, but you ever watch Breaking
I
Bad, man?
actually just finished it maybe a year ago, and I'm like halfway through Better Call Saul.
I never watched Better Call Saul, but
Did you ever watch El Camino, the I
Breaking
guess
Bad is
movie?
no, no. Is that the one that's about Jesse?
Yeah, I never watched that movie either. But Breaking
Okay,
Bad, like, dude, think
yeah,
about that because like Breaking Bad is like it's almost like some real like it seemed like it could be like it could really happen, dude. Like your
yes.
science teacher, like what the
It is
freak?
it is so unbelievably grounded in reality,
Oh yeah,
and like that could easily happen. Like a guy who's a chemist, you know, like the whole story. Like he
yeah,
goes from being a pretty just average teacher in a high school to being the king of king of the meth operation in the Southwest.
yeah. Like
But
I
dude,
thought I thought that
that
was crazy.
oh yeah, that show is an example of how you can write something so small and just trickle it all the way through until the end. Like they would show you like one little scene and you'd be like, what was that? And then they'll keep doing it throughout the season until all the way to the end, and you finally get what that whole thing throughout the season was about. Like I
Was
don't
about
remember.
yeah,
I think it was season 3 when Jesse's girlfriend overdoses and her
dude.
father crashes the two planes above Walter White's house. Like that, he's
Yeah,
an air traffic controller. Like how they show like throughout the season, just like random little
yeah.
clips of like debris. Like that's like a perfect example of how you can just masterfully write a show.
I didn't like how she got killed.
No, no, that sucked. That sucked.
I
She didn't
I, I
deserve to
didn't like
die.
that.
Yeah,
And all
she
she did was
did.
she opened the door and then bam. Like I didn't care for that at all. But one thing that was cool though was Walter White's nickname. That was an amazing nickname.
Which one?
Heisenberg.
Heisenberg.
Like his
Yeah, after
product. Yeah, his product.
yeah the famous scientist.
Yeah. And he was known for like it being blue, you know what I mean, or something like that. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
it's
apparently
it's
in that
crazy.
story, I guess the purer it was, the bluer it was, or something like that. I don't know,
Yeah,
but yeah, like
but because he was actual chemist and not just the person making the
yeah,
product,
he
like he
wasn't
actually
just
knew.
yeah, he wasn't camper hustling like Jesse was,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
dude, it's crazy. I really like Saul Goodman's character. I like his
Yeah,
bodyguard played by Lavelle Crawford. It was pretty
yo,
cool.
man, he was so good. It's such
Yeah.
a small role, and Bill
Oh,
Burr
very small. Yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah,
was also in there, and
yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, dude, dude.
That is like the
What
man
was the
that
name of that
can
store?
the
The
chicken
chicken
place,
store.
uh,
Freaking
El Pollo Loco,
El
I
Pollo.
think.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
that
his character was spot on.
yeah, he can be one of those guys who can show terror and be completely calm the entire time.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
man. Like,
what an actor,
oh
man.
yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah,
role he does is
yeah. He's
fantastic.
also in
The
Star Wars. He
Mandalorian,
plays as
yeah,
Moff
Moff
Gideon. Yeah,
Gideon, yep, yeah, he's
yeah.
got that dark
Which
saber.
which will be the next Star Wars I will actually be checking out. I gotta watch that before this new one comes out, Obi-Wan. Gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, man, crazy. What's your best Star Wars memory?
Um, Watching Empire Strikes Back at my neighbor's house for the first time when I was dude, probably like 6 years old, like first
Damn.
grade. Yeah, like they had the remastered trilogy box set on VHS had just come out or
Oh
something like
wow.
that. Yeah, dude, I'm
VHS.
going back. Yeah, yeah, this is early '90s or something like that. Like they just had like the trilogy and whatever, and they're like, "You want to watch Star Wars?" And I had no idea what Star Wars was. I'm like, "Sure." Or
Yeah.
something like how kids watch a movie and stuff, and yeah, it kind of changed me. Like something about the lightsaber sound to this day.
Dude, lightsabers. Like,
Man,
okay,
what a
if I'm
weapon.
ever able to get a lightsaber, I promise you, I'm going outside at like 10 o'clock at night.
Dude, yeah, and you got to just do it. Just,
I
who
don't
cares?
even care.
Yeah, like you don't. Who cares what the neighbors say about you swinging that thing, dude? Once you have one in your
Oh, who
hand, like you
cares?
have to. I don't care what age you are. You can be, 10 or 100. If you got that thing in your
Yeah.
hand for the first time and you want to swing it around like a fool and do flips and stuff with that in your hand, go for it, man. Do your thing.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Absolutely,
Walk.
like
Hey, walk outside, become Darth Gemini.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you,
And
it's gonna
I
be
would have to
crazy.
I wouldn't get Windows uh
Color.
no, I would get the color. I'd have to get the purple.
Oh, you
I
would get
wouldn't
the
have his
okay.
hilt, but I'd have to get the
Oh, his
purple
hilt.
because
Yeah,
purple's one of my favorite colors. So if
yeah.
not it is my favorite
Same
color.
here, man.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I have to go the Windu color because yeah,
Cool.
yeah. And then I got to see all three of the sequel trilogy in theaters. I saw both Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones day one as a kid in
Okay.
theaters at the theater down like the town over from me. And what's crazy is over that span of time, the two other kids I saw it with, we went and
Mm.
saw all three of them together, even though we went from like the ages of like 10 to like 16, 17 throughout that time.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
All different friend groups, wholly completely different lives from when we went and saw the Phantom Menace. But we still made it a point to go see Star Wars together. And so that's actually probably a better Star Wars memory because one of those guys actually passed away when
Oh
he
yeah.
was over. I don't think he was overseas, but he was in the military at the time when he had
Yeah.
passed. So shout out Tommy Starl. He's not around anymore. Great kid. I'll never forget him. But
Yeah. Condolences for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh yeah, we went and saw those movies, and I'll never forget that. And it was like a theater my aunt and my cousin worked at too, so they were like letting us in for free, and
Oh, dude, that has to be cool.
yeah, yeah. And
Damn.
I'll never forget like all like we didn't dress up ourselves, but like it was like a thing, man. Like people dressing up for the movies and like the huge line outside. It was super exciting. So yeah, probably the Phantom Menace opening was probably the most exciting of the ones I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a kid at the time. I mean, not the most exciting movie for sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
going back to the memory of it, but Revenge of the Sith was probably the one I definitely most enjoyed in theaters as a teenager.
Hmm. Yeah. I feel like Darth Maul's look is just it's one of the craziest looks ever, man. Like in like a good way. Like
Yeah,
that
I
combination of
remember
red
just
and black.
being not like obsessed, but like just fascinated with his character design as a child. Like when that movie came out, he was like instantly my favorite. It went from being Darth Vader being my favorite to poor Darth Maul getting chopped in half. That's way before they ever came out with the Clone Wars and further stories where he was alive and stuff. But yeah, Darth Maul to me was just unreal awesome
Yeah. Definitely, man.
with his
Definitely.
double-sided lightsaber and his extreme acrobatic skills, and
Yeah.
he was like a demon. He looked like a demon,
Yeah, I mean it's
and
one of
he
the
was
coolest looks of all of them, man. That I've
yeah,
seen. Like it's really cool look. Really cool look.
yeah, and even now, like they still design him just unbelievable looking. Like to
Yeah, for
jump into
sure.
the statue things, like the mythos with his long grown out horns,
Dude.
like
Dude,
that's like what I
yeah.
thought about as a kid. Like what would those horns look like if they were even longer than just the little 2-inch things they
So
are in the film?
I'm not sure if this will air before May the 4th. However, if it doesn't, well, I guess it really doesn't matter because right now it's before anyway, so our answer really wouldn't matter. However, for May the 4th, do you think Sideshow is actually going to do like 10% off free shipping for like Mythos products, all Star Wars products?
Probably, honestly, they because that's one of their bigger lines that they produce their own stuff for.
Yeah.
So I think that of course, there's going to be Hot Toys, but Sideshow's just a distributor. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people kind of
yeah.
forget that that's not Sideshow's personal company. They're just a huge distributor for them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do believe on their own products,
I
there's
mean, with
definitely going to be some kind of sale, even if it's 10%
yeah,
free shipping, maybe.
it should be something, dude. Because I think that would be the perfect opportunity to go ahead and offload some of those things,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah,
You know,
especially those high edition sizes on some of the mythos and stuff like that. Like some of them got
and
what, like 3,500. That's a
I'll
lot,
bring
man.
them up here. I'll bring them up
Sure.
here on screen, real quick. If you look at
Mm.
uh, well, there's only four of them that I have highlighted here. Asajj Ventress is 4,500 edition size,
That's
$600
gigantic, man.
price. That is
And I think
definitely a lot.
I think this is only the second wave too coming in on the
Hmm.
pre-order because she was in stock. So this is probably the second batch of her. I still know nothing about her, but she will eventually join the collection at some point because she is just so cool looking.
Yeah, yeah. I think this one looks really
I'd lo-
cool.
yeah,
Um,
I would love to know more about
however,
her, but
talk to me on this one here. They haven't announced the edition size. It has a collector's edition as well as a exclusive. I would assume it's going to be a little bit less in terms of the edition size. What are you thinking on this Vader here at 650? Do you want
it's an
this one by
awesome.
ship by chance?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't
Okay.
use the flame saber myself
Yeah.
because realistically, a lightsaber probably burns hotter than fire. It does because
Yeah.
they use it to cut through things instantly. So there's no way it's
Oh
going to be
yeah,
on
yeah,
fire. It's a wonderful
yeah,
artistic representation of beautiful. Absolutely
I'll say
beautiful.
this. I think from a statue perspective, I think it's cool to have the switch out from a
Yes,
statue's perspective.
yes.
However, if you are trying to go more realistic to the lore of Star Wars,
And you're
I
not
don't
gonna
see
have
you
this piece.
actually, yeah, I don't see you
Yeah, yeah.
displaying it that way.
Because yeah, if you're
But
going to the lore, poor Darth Vader and his suit all destroyed like that is mythos for sure. You know, like I
dude,
love that the middle one, that face sculpt
oh,
with the tears and stuff. If it comes out half or not even, I don't want to say half. That's giving away too much credit to be
dude,
crappy. If it comes out like
this,
90% that nice, that is insanely cool. Not,
oh
I don't
hell
even care
yeah,
about like the at the lore point. Like from an artistic standpoint, this is such a cool piece
yeah, yeah,
where like I actually appreciate the Mythos line because they get that artistic freedom to do what they want almost with the characters to a certain extent, you know, within their license agreements,
you know,
they get to,
I agree.
yep, all four of these, man.
Now, see,
Sidious.
these are the two that I'm really looking at in terms of May the 4th. I mean, you have they're already low prices at 590 and
Mhm.
615. I'm
But
thinking
they're also fifth scale.
they are fifth scale,
But it doesn't,
but
I think just because of how beautifully done they are, that doesn't even matter to me. Like I didn't really want to, I'm gonna get these. I
dude,
don't want
isn't
to.
most of the court line fifth scale?
No, they're sick or fourth scale. My bad, dude.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and they got one of their characters is so big he's a legendary scale figure.
So if you look at this Sidious, it's 2,000 edition size, but if you look at this Darth Maul, it's 4,500. I guess
That's so
why do you
huge.
feel like the difference in edition size? That's a lot.
That's probably definitely license there, where if they feel like they can push out more Darth Maul, and he's, I don't want to say he's a more popular character because I mean Sidious slash Palpatine has been around from the beginning, but
Yeah,
I mean a lot of
dude.
people are gonna want this over a Sidious because of just how cool it
Oh
is.
man.
Like
Oh yeah.
I
From a
would think.
statue perspective, this looks so much better than Sidious. However, if
Mhm.
you've watched the films, if you like Star Wars, you gotta have a Palpatine in the collection,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you have to.
Absolutely.
You
He's
have
the
to,
he's
bro.
the cause of 90% of the Skywalker problems. You know,
Uh,
if not all of
dude.
the Skywalker
Oh
problems.
yeah. Oh yeah, man. Like I
Generations
definitely
of
want to look up a
family issues.
Sidious.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
No,
sure.
but the Court of the Deadline, they are quarter scale, and dude, like some of them are big. Like Death in the
Yeah.
middle, he's 30 inches tall.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty big. Even though he is like standing up on a base that's tall, he's still 30 inches tall.
Yeah, man. That's crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like
They're huge.
we we talked about a lot, man, and it's. I think that I think for the first episode we're gonna like put a pin in it pretty shortly, dude. But it's crazy because like
Yeah,
we covered a lot, and you
yeah.
know I don't know if you can see it on your end, but on my end I can see a ticker that says 1 hour and 33 minutes. Are
Oh
you able to
yeah,
see that on your
right up
end?
on the top. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy because I could like the last time I looked at it, no joke, it said 13 minutes,
Holy crap! And you
and
just let
then
me talk most of the time, though, dude. You
it
gotta, you
just it
gotta,
just
you gotta
it
talk
just
too a
went,
little
bro.
bit. Yeah.
It just went, bro. It's
Tell
crazy.
me
You know, we
where. Tell me real quick before we cut it short.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where, where did all this start for you?
What exactly?
Any of it, man. Like I don't want to say statues because it's like the joy for something. I don't want to say geek culture either because I don't really like that. I don't like that
Pop
term, you
culture.
know. Yeah, pop culture.
Um,
How did you? Was that from your childhood or is that more?
I would honestly say some of the earlier things I was into outside of like actual like coloring, watching animated shows, because one of the biggest animated shows for myself was the Batman animated
Yes,
series.
yes.
Watching that at my aunt's house, it came on cable, she had cable, and watching that was just like It was amazing
Yeah,
piece of work. I remember the intro to this day. Going to watching Pokemon on Saturday mornings, plus the Jackie Chan cartoon. Um,
dude. I haven't thought about that cartoon in so long. What is it called? Jackie Chan Adventures?
Jackie Chan New Adventures. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just
Oh my god.
it
Yeah.
was just so crazy. I had the video game on PlayStation One.
Wow.
Um, I mean, for me, pop culture is everything, man. Like, I had two full racks of Blu-rays behind me. I recently just sold one whole rack to
Oh wow.
downsize to like stuff I'm actually watch, actual classics. Like, I felt like for all the BS stuff, I could leave that on streaming sites, no big deal. But
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
actual classics, the actual stuff you want, like you said about that '70s show or other stuff, you gotta have the physical media, man.
Oh dude,
You
I
got
have
to.
I have the entire Infinity Saga, all the Blu-rays up above me,
Same
and
here, dude. I
there's
have all the Marvel stuff,
yeah,
Deadpool, all the X-Men, all those. You gotta have those,
there
man.
and I do like separate displays for the Infinity Saga. I did a Thanos piece of art that I know I've sent you before. That is right under it's on a floating shelf, but it's the Infinity Saga movies under that or above that Thanos piece. So like, and then with my DC movies, they got their own display, and then down there, dude, is the Dark Knight trilogy. Like I like Blu-ray special editions, and I still get them to this day. Because yeah, you're right, dude. There's
Yeah,
something about physical media, especially movies and stuff you love. Like there's nothing better. Yeah,
yeah.
there he is.
It's crazy because if streaming goes down, like the internet, the site crashes or anything, like
You
you
have
don't have nothing to
nothing.
watch.
And I've
You,
never had that problem because I have a couple hundred movies. Like I love owning the movies. I get excited when I know I always look for Blu-ray dates, like when did they come out so I can get it within the first couple weeks of it being out. All that. Like I did that with like
yeah,
Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat's got a separate display now because they have, animated movies, the newer movie from last year. All the stuff I really
yeah,
love get separate Blu-ray displays that
hmm
I'll make with different shelves and stuff. And all of it's like
yeah.
stuff that have been with me forever.
Dude, it's crazy you said that because I had mentioned to you about my Wolverine and or my Logan and Deadpool
Oh, dude.
display, and this is actually what I'm putting for the display. It's a nine
Oh
oh dang it, it's a
man,
9.8 CGC of
9.8.
Old Man Logan. Come at me, bro, with Deadpool. So
That
this
is
is
so
going on my
nice, man.
my Deadpool and Logan display. Um, I was finally able to actually find the Logan premium format exclusive
Yes,
edition, by the way,
yes.
that I told you about.
Beautiful,
I was
dude.
able to do it
Yeah.
on the payment plan, actually at retail. Didn't have to overpay or nothing. It's a prime example of being patient and waiting for something to actually come.
hmm
Uh, so yeah, man, and I can't wait to like finally have that display set up. I do have the Deadpool on on order as well on the payment plan.
Yeah.
I've kind of pushed those back due to money right now, but hopefully
hmm
once I get both of those done, it's gonna be amazing. And I'm only sitting like this right now since I like moved my whole display around.
Yeah.
But like once I get everything more done, I'll like
Yeah.
move the camera to where you guys will be able to see more, so I can like actually have a
Yeah.
background again, man.
Yeah. That's
Because
exciting.
before, dude, everyone knew me as like the Jeepers Creepers guy. I had the Jeepers Creepers and Predators behind me, and now I don't have anything really behind me. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
give me about 2 months, and I'll change all that. Give me till like about the Fourth of July. About the Fourth of
Okay.
July.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that I can actually shift around too because I got two different
yeah,
displays in the corner of a room, so I can shift around, move
yeah,
closer. It's all open behind me there. But
yeah.
so
But
with the X-Men, did you watch the cartoon when you were young? The animated series?
yeah, I did. I actually don't remember them that much like that, so I do want to go back and watch them. I know they're on Disney Plus, so I do plan to
Yes.
eventually go back
Yes.
check them all out. I did recently watch all 13 of the X Men films, including
Oh,
Deadpool, last year. I do plan on actually going back and doing that again because they're amazing films.
yeah.
And X Men's so political, far as what they're actually trying to
Oh,
achieve.
dude.
in the
Like that,
films.
even the comic history, like they were
Yeah,
all like political and social allegories for what was going on during their times, and
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, even the movies, yeah, they're heavily political. You know,
I don't actually have it with me. I was gonna show it, but this here is a Spider-Man Masterworks, uh, and it's by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. I actually have the X-Men one, and I'm gonna actually start reading the X-Men one first before I read the Spider-Man one. But essentially, it comes with all the stuff on the back of here, like all the nine issues, volume one, volume two, however many volumes that that individual one came out with, and
so
I
it's a
can't wait to like
oh wow,
whoever.
that's actually pretty thick too. Once you turned it to the side there,
Yeah, it's all the old comics, bro. And
yeah,
these are like
yeah,
anywhere from 10 to 15 bucks on Amazon or your local comic book store. It's this thick. I mean, it's a lot. About 300 pages.
beautiful, dude.
It's. I know it's not as cool as an omnibus to some people in terms of like putting on
Omnibuses
your
are,
shelf, but they're
yeah,
expensive. They're hard to read because they're so heavy. The master work works fine, man. And there's so many. There's a
yeah, and it,
Daredevil one. There's Captain America. There's so many of them.
yeah, omnibuses are definitely like their own thing. But yeah, that just works fine too. It's like it said like collecting like some of the best like beginning stories. Like that's enough for me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't want to
And
read
there's
every
more.
single.
There's like 3 editions for each character, so you're gonna get about a good 1,000 pages of
Wow,
of that individual
that
character or group like man. So it's you're
that's a
pretty
lot.
much getting an omnibus worth of stories, but only having to pay about 50 bucks total. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
good. It's fine for me.
that's not
It's fine
bad.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
Who's your
definitely.
favorite of all characters? No, no, none of the you know your the Mount Rushmore, but who's your just number one like of all characters in pop culture? Like if you had
I mean,
to like what has been with you the longest, I guess. Like
honestly, when it comes to I'd probably from a horror sci-fi perspective, I'd probably say Freddy and Michael Myers. You know, I definitely love Jason, but when it comes like as far as how many times I've actually like watched the films, I've definitely watched Halloween more than any of the
oh
those
really?
legendary three. Yeah. On a Marvel's perspective, I would definitely say Magneto, Logan, Deadpool, Thor. Love Thor. Thor is my favorite Avenger.
Yeah,
Villains is
yeah.
Magneto and Doctor Victor Von Doom. I love those two.
You know,
So
other than Victor Von Doom, all of them have had great film representations. You know,
yeah,
unfortunately, you know, Fantastic Four has been kind of crapped on cinematically,
yeah, yeah. It has, man.
but
I think that will change, though. I think that will change.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Marvel. Uh, I think the guy who was gonna write it or direct it just dropped out of the reboot. But
yeah,
okay, so yeah, so that's always nice. Like thinking about it from when you were a kid, like man, I wish I could see that kind of movie, and now we're getting that. So it's like it's hard to
yeah,
ever be mad. I mean, yeah, if the movie sucks, the movie sucks. But when I was a kid, all we had was Tim Burton Batman, and it got turned into bat nipples with Schumacher, you know, and that
dude. Schwarzenegger, man.
I
Mr.
like the
Freeze,
I
bro.
like yeah, I like the
Yeah,
costume design to this day. Like it's like really creative and cool, but what a
yeah,
corny. I call it cheese ball. Like what a
yeah,
cheese ball, man. That was just camp
yeah,
to the max. Like I get what they were trying to do, but other than the cool
yeah.
costume, like that dude spoken one-liners and it was awful.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
When
Crazy.
when he's like the most tortured of that group that they chose. Like, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is. We get comic book movies, man.
We do. I strongly believe from a animation standpoint, DC is king. From a non-animation standpoint, it's definitely Marvel. horror slash horror flicks were definitely better in the 80s and
Yes,
90s. Sci-fi, I think, can still do their thing today
sci-fi
because
is, yeah.
it's sci-fi. It's not really character based. It's more or less the feeling of what you're actually watching. You know what I mean?
I think technology in filmmaking definitely has made sci-fi more prominent these days because a lot of the stuff that we can do now we weren't able to do in the 80s and 90s, and even before then. So now
Yeah,
you can make
definitely,
an entire
man.
movie on your computer.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't need to go anywhere.
yeah. Which is definitely crazy to think. There's a lot of people who do all their videos from their iPhone,
Hmm.
their Samsung Galaxy, whatever it is. So it's definitely crazy to think that, man. To to ask one final question though, man. To bring it full circle. Is there anything in life from a happy place? Any happy thing that you could recreate right now, what would it be? And I mean like a temporary feeling, like a day.
Um, I think I remember getting Super Nintendo, like when that came
Oh
out.
man, Super Nintendo,
Yeah,
Sega Genesis. No, it's fun.
yeah. I remember like in the house, like we had the
Yeah,
Nintendo, the first one and
yeah,
stuff, but I just remember getting it. Like I think it was Christmas and just being
yeah,
there's something about that, like because it was a huge change, and I mean now we're really spoiled with video games and we cry about every little thing with video games. But
yeah,
back then, like that huge jump between regular old NES and Super Nintendo and how much it changed and like what it did, because my mom was the gamer in the
yeah.
family, like as weird as like, because she was like late 50s
Hmm.
playing video games, which is common now, but back in the 90s and late 80s, that wasn't a thing. So I think Nintendo, uh Pokemon definitely brings a lot of joy because that's a huge part of being like 10 years old, 9, 10.
Yeah, man.
That.
I for me to kind of piggyback off what you said, I remember getting the PlayStation 1. If I'm
Oh,
not mistaken, it was 1998 or 1999. It was one of those two. I'm pretty sure 99. And I remember for Christmas I had got Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man something video game, and I remember like having to fight against Electro. You had to like go in the bank and beat up the villains, and you had to like catch the web things on the ground for more power. It was fighting against the lizard. Like I don't think kids, and I don't want to like sound like, because we're definitely not old or
we're,
anything like
we're,
that, but
we're kids too. Yeah.
like
30s is still young.
I don't think people understand seeing the evolution of media. And obviously, we weren't born for black and white TVs, but when
Oh,
I
like,
say media, I mean VHS to streaming. I mean PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 5. Like, I don't think people
yeah, all the
understand.
in betweens. Yeah.
You have a much better appreciation for that Spider-Man in 1998 versus that new one, Spider-Man Miles Morales, that came out for PS4, PS5, and Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand
Absolutely.
that. Like, dude, like it's uh I'm not as big into gaming now as then, and I don't think it's due to not loving games. And I think it's more or less the time factor.
Time.
I think
Absolutely.
because of life, like you just don't have as much time. Like the last game that actually indulged me, and I mean like I am in it, was The Last of Us, and that was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I remember
Wow.
like being
Wow.
jobless. I remember being jobless and it was for. I literally went out and bought a PlayStation 3 just to play this game.
Oh yeah. Wow. So
I
that's a
was
PlayStation
jobless.
exclusive, right?
I had yeah, I was PlayStation exclusive. I was jobless. I had came up on like $2,000 through like an
Oh.
insurance thing. I took 200 of the $200 bought a PlayStation because it was randomly around Black Friday, so I was able to get the PlayStation
Oh.
3 for like dirt
Perfect.
cheap as well. So it was just perfect timing, and I played the hell out of that game. And I think it was because like kids weren't a factor, work wasn't a problem, you were at home, so you had the time. Versus now, the last
Mhm.
game having a job that I've actually been able to sit down was Spider-Man Miles Morales and actually play, like legitimately play.
Oh yeah.
And even no, actually I take that back. Before it was the one that came up before Miles Morales, just a regular one, because I was working for the
The regular
VA, the
Spider-Man.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working for the
Okay.
government,
Yeah.
and they didn't give a damn about the work schedule you worked. They were just like, "Hey, just get 40 hours by Friday. We don't care if you do it all in 2 days. We don't give a damn. Just get it done." You could
Oh
literally work
wow.
24
That's
hours a
awesome.
day, and they would not care. So I would literally do that. I would work my
Wow.
hours in like 3 days, play games, come back, work 6 hours here. Like I would just do so much, but still end up with like 80 hours a week because you could do it however you
Yeah.
wanted.
Oh yeah.
And so while everybody was asleep in the house, I'd stay up all night watching Joe Rogan and playing video games and working at the same time. Literally.
Oh yeah.
Because it was an easy
Absolutely.
job to where like you really didn't have to like pay too much attention. Um and yeah, now here we are, and hopefully I can find another job that pays well. And obviously I doubt I'll ever get anything that easy again, but at least that it pays well, it's something I can grasp and be able to afford some of these cool things, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, all the cool things. It's wild.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. Cool. Well, dude, that's crazy, bro. Episode 1, right? Like that's crazy, man. We talked about it, made it happen. We're here
Yeah.
now. Uh, I swear, dude. I say this every single time I'm on like doing anything. Like you always look at the timer, and it's just then you check it like you probably check it 2 3 times, but then you just forget about it. And next thing you know, it's like bam, like we're already approaching 2 hours, man. Like that's just crazy, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah. Last time you said something, it was like 30 minutes ago.
bro, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
But this has been episode 1 of Nostalgic Evolution with Cash and Tone. We will be back, man. We got to figure out how we want to do this in terms of scheduling, once a month,
Yeah.
twice a month. I don't know, but we'll figure it out and have a good time, man. So I appreciate everybody for coming out, checking episode 1. Tone, hey, close us out with something before I do the outro, man.
No,
Any last words?
you can go ahead and close it, but I just want to say thanks for checking it out. I mean, time did go by really fast, and that's really
Yeah,
cool when you're just talking about things you love, and time just goes by like that. Um, so I hope to continue on and get even more in depth of like where our interests grew from and how they came to what they are and what they mean, really, and
yeah,
all the different things that we can
for
discuss about it. Honestly,
for sure, man. We
and
would
like
definitely get
life
more in
in
depth.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Whoa, I'm definitely gonna talk about school the next episode. I promise. Man. I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about
Oh yeah.
school and everything else, man. But I will end us with this: if you're ever near Area 51, you gotta use a jetpack. Hey, if you're ever in Area 51, you gotta use a jetpack, man. This has been Nostalgic Evolution.
Use the jetpack.
Uh, use the jetpack and Back to the Future,
Use the
baby.
jet.
I'm ballin' like I'm Jordan, I'm just tryna change the game. Got my